What's up guys, it's James back again, and today we're going to do something a little different. You know, in all these deck profiles and deck reviews that I've done in the past, I'm always very kind, I'm very conciliatory. I'm thinking, oh, that's an interesting choice, you know, that's a cool take on this deck, that's an interesting idea, I haven't seen that before, oh, that's a unique spin. I'm saying all these things, but we all know what I really mean, and sometimes these choices are just ass. And we all know we talk a little different behind closed doors with our homies or whatever. Oh, this guy played like shit. Oh, this deck is just complete dog water. I don't understand how it keeps winning. And so I think it's time to bring the dark into light a little bit and look at these top 16 decks and just call it like it is for once. So this is the top 16 decks from the Deck Devastators tournament this weekend, hosted on the Edison format server. And I'm just going to jump right in. And this first one is by Yondaime. And now Yondaime is a fantastic Blackwing player that has done very well with that deck. And to be clear, fantastic Blackwing player, because he's also done very well with Frogs, but when I watch him play Frogs, I feel like something's not clicking. Like I really see him not going for optimal lines and doing poor sequences, and just like, he's been playing this deck for a while too, and I think it's like honestly noticeably hurt his win rate. Even though he continues to top some tournaments, I feel like he would be a dominant force with Blackwing. So, you know, and then you got these weird tech picks, like was the main deck My Body, no MST, and we're citing double Novum Extermination. Just play Dust Tornado, bro. Just play fucking Dust Tornado. 5 discard traps is so many. It's so many. I understand you have the Mali, I understand you have the Deity. It's not worth it, bro. It's just not worth it. And like, I like the water art in the side. It's just no torrential anywhere. But like, you could just go back to your roots, man. You could be one of the best Blackwing players. Just please, I'm begging you. We are all begging you. Next up, I'm going to do the first of a couple value decks, and by far my least favorite one is by Duck Murderer. Now, this guy, what stresses me out about the value stuff is that there's so many standardized lists. Like, the lists are readily available. They're all like 1 or 2 cards different. It's almost a meme at this point. So I don't understand why you would decide to use your originality here on this evolved deck and you make these choices. Like, you cut a starter. Usually all the value decks play double hamster, 3 Raikou, or they play 1 hamster, 1 charge, 3 Raikou. This guy is only playing 1 hamster, 3 Raikou. Way worse. You're gonna severely limit your good openings, and those cards are really, really important to start your milling and eat through the back row. And to make matters worse, like, they would work really well with his 2 Book of Moon. Book of Moon is like a horribly positioned card right now. Basically everyone would agree on that, but at least it would have some utility with those extra flips. Without those, I have no idea why he's playing those. And he's not playing Solemn. Now, I'm going to cover this a few times in this video. I don't understand the cutting Solemn. Solemn's an insane card. And in what world are we going to make the argument that Solemn is a worse card than Book of Moon? How? How can we say this? And at least you want to side it. Like, it's a better pulling the rug. It protects your oppression. Like, protects all these like little floodgate monsters you're playing. I just don't understand. I'll never understand. We have more value. Another fine build, I guess, because this guy just copied Gary's build from the RBET. This guy's never built an original deck in his life. GYBU. Shout out to anyone who knows the history between me and him. But yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of the way this guy plays either, but the list is fairly standard. I mean, you have these tech picks in the side, Breaker, Compulse. I don't think Gary is playing those, but the lack of Crow and I think Kaiku's and Breaker, you're really loading up on Dark Normal Summons. So this is also just pretty much ass. I mean, there's only so many differing decisions that you can make with value, and when you make the wrong ones, I just have to question what's going on. Now, the person that gets, I guess, the most right is Ricky, and later you'll see another of his lists in top 8, but even he, you know, what are we doing with the Icarus, bro? Like, I think it's really time to wake up to the fact that this card is not as good as people are thinking it is. Just play a Dust Tornado or something, play a deck div, really main deck the deck div, like please main deck the deck div. It's so good. Other than that, you know, list is relatively standard, but Icarus is just not impactful even the matchups it's good against. Like, I don't understand it all. And Sork has found its way back in. These guys have been playing the same deck for like 6 months. But like, why Sork now? Like, why is now it coming back in? But it's just standard and boring. Like, I'm over it. I'm over it. Now we got a quick draw guy who made top 16, and this is going to be a brief hate-free zone. Not going to hate on the quick draw guy. Cool that you top with that deck, although you do need some more Dust Tornadoes. I don't understand why you're playing track. You need way more Dust Tornadoes, many more. We got Shabam 4. Now, it leads me to believe that Shabams 1 through 3 were taken, but this is a crazy 2010 ass Lightsworn deck. This guy emerged from a time capsule and had the same deck box that he had in 2010 Ultra Pro. But all in all, I'm a little bit hating just to hate. I do think there are some things that I would do differently. Triple Celestia seems like a lot better in the pure builds. Triple Lila, Torrential, is that really the best choice for that? Maybe a Roar, even deeper than Bottomless. It seems a little bit mishmash, and the side I hate, because first of all, you have no out to Vanity's Fiend, you have no Vortex, no Book of Moon. These things, like, you just scoop. You have the same outs that you already have in main deck, which is like double Honest, nothing. Sork, I hate these types of side plans. Super like marginal advantage. It's not like countering their counters to your things. It's just, what are you gonna board in? Double Kaiku, Triple Crow, and the Sork against Vayu, the deck that brings oppression? Like, what are we thinking here? Mirror of Oaths, that's just so bad that I'm not even gonna give that attention. But it's like, I just play Twilight. At the end of the day, just play Twilight, dude. I'm tired of this. Now, we also have Jiah. Now, this guy's a Blackwing player, and he had the fucking genius idea of cutting down one Icarus deck. This is the exact same list as the guy who won the EU Time Wizard event, but instead he added a Gores over Icarus attack. Now, there's other things I don't like about this build, like forward draw traps is too much, I don't love the side, whatever, but we need to stop this trend of cutting Icarus attack. We need to put a halt to it. We need a action force unit. Like, we need an intervention on these Blackwing players. They do not understand how good they have it. Icarus is such a good card. It's an engine card. It's practically an engine card, dude. Like, yeah, you can't search it, but it gets your stuff to grave. Like, it gets all your shit to grave, so you can blizzard it back, you can use your values. That's part of the reason why you're playing double value. Why are you playing double value and only 2 Icarus? It doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. And people are, oh, you play around it, oh, there's all these draw traps, oh, Starlight Road. Just learn how to play. Learn how to play. I don't know what to tell you. Don't even side one out. Never side one out. I'm gonna say never side one out. Like, please. I'm begging you. And this guy's not even siding the third one. What are you gonna do without 3 Icarus in the mirror, bro? It's good in the mirror. It's very good in the mirror. What are we thinking? Okay, we're just gonna move on. This one triggered me too much. Who else we got here? I think the last member of the top 16 consortium is Fraser Smith. Now, first I gotta say, excellent choice on the Dream Frog deck recipe. That's a very patrician deck type, and it is called Dream Frogs, by the way. We'll touch on that in a little bit, but it's too many monarchs. That's what I gotta say. The whole point of my deck was you play triple Avarice, you shuffle back all the monarchs. You don't need to play so many. You can brick really easily on the monarchs. If they just answer it with a bottomless, then you start taking too much damage. If you have too many monarchs in hand, it's just redundant cards. Even something like a monarch and a lad is way better, because then you have options. Like, you drop the lad to the side. I mean, that doesn't make much sense to me, and you're way too heavy on soul exchanges. But there are things that aren't so bad, but I think honestly, like, there's things that I was doing right, bro. You had Dandelion, you had Sink, you had Lad. Like, those cards were there for a reason. Like, please stop messing with my deck. Okay, we're gonna go on to top 8 before I fucking lose it. And we have Samo, Ricky's fucking father, because this is the same exact deck. He's Ricky's puppet master. If you know, you know. But this is fine. This is just boring. I just don't understand why like, skill difference, I guess, why he makes top 8 and Ricky makes top 16. Okay, on to Nasty Beast, NB, on a frog variant. Now, there's some things I don't hate. But I think he's really barking up the wrong tree. Upstart Goblin is sus in frogs. I'm gonna just say it. I know, Denny, you just won with it too, in the Dream Frog deck. You draw into your frogs. People think, oh, you find your starters. But what if you draw into the frogs, the dupe frogs, the extra Treeborns? Like, it's not that good. And Deep Prison, I think, is a horrible use of the slot. Just keep it in the side. You need it for game 2 and 3, not for game 1. Oh, I need my defense. No, you don't. No, you fucking don't. Put in a Fader, a Prodigy, or an Econ. What happened to Econ? At least we got back to 3 swap, because that was a trend that was horrible for a while, people on the 2 swap. And Burial is a trap in the side. Why are we siding this in? You're siding in hoping they draw their specific soul release or whatever, or the game goes long enough that you can get some value off it. I don't think you can afford to have a dead card early. You're just relying on them drawing their side and using it in a particular way that's going to benefit you. Horrible card, in my opinion. But moving right along, we got a Dragon Turbo deck list. And I just feel like, kind of similar to the value, like, how do you fuck up Dragon Turbo, Like, 38, 39 out of the cards are there laid out for you. Like, and this guy just went to 1 instant for no fucking reason, double Vortex cheaper, whatever. Maybe 2 Vortex is fine, but 1 instant is nearly unforgivable. You need 2 instant. It's the card you're always trying to find when you combo. And a sided the second one? Like, when is that coming in? How are we doing this? Gores could also be good. The rest of it's fine, but it's just like, you only have so many decisions to make. I'm lost. I'm at a loss. We got another top 8 deck, Lucas G. Now, you know, this list looks pretty clean. He sacked us badly in the playoffs, but it's just boring as hell. At least he found the third Icarus in his deck box or whatever. Random ass Light Mirror. Is that even worth it? It doesn't stop consecrated. Maybe you want to skill drain, something like that. But I think if you're loading this deck in an actual tournament in 2024, you just hate yourself and Edison and probably should find a new hobby. Now, we got Diego. Now, people have been asking me about this list, and here's what I think is that this is a nice take on the deck for sure, but it's actually ass because you're loading up. This is just like a more of a classic Frog Monarch, right? Like he's not playing the Fishborg. Really the only, it's not even really Dream Frog, it's just like you're loading up on salvages. But the reason why those decks were ass and fell out of favor is because you get all these really redundant hands with like too many control spells, you know, too much graveyard reliant stuff, and they can really stuff you out if you open with these bricks or just redundancy. You know, the point of the Avarice, I'm playing multiple Avarice, and that's why I don't play stuff like Soul Exchanges, because you don't want to draw into these redundant cards. And I don't really understand like the Death Frog flip-flop in the side. It just, you really want more impactful cards, even though they're searchable. It just seems like super marginal, poor returns. 4 discard traps is way too many without Dandelion or anything like that. It's just not worth it. And like, he's trying to some fake big brain. Like, if they see your Avarice game 1, maybe they assume you're on Dream Frog and they board in Crow, and then you don't have the fish board. But if that's the case, like, wouldn't you want to show them the Death Frog and flip flop game 1? So like, they really know you're on this type of deck, and that's when maybe they miss side. Like, probably MST needs to be main too, just like a good trap card against Blackwing. And I don't know. Again, kind of like I said with Frazier, just too many Monarchs, man. I think it's not where you want to be. You lose like the upside that the Dream Frog deck gives you, and it really ain't it for me. Now I got a low Ghost Rider deck in here. Like, we got some stuff to say about that for sure. But Ghost Rider got third, and I really got a feel for Ghost Rider at a certain point, because he has gotten top 4 in so many of these tournaments, or top 2, I don't know, and he just keeps losing to GB, unwinnable games. I don't know why you continue to play this deck after having the same thing happen to you in like multiple tournaments in a row. Maybe some kind of mental illness, I don't know. You need to perform wellness check. But at least he found his second Instant Fusion compared to the other guy. But it's a standard, and I'm glad he moved on from just throwing like random cards in the side with some of the oldest. I still don't love the Trooper. That seems like super diminishing returns for me, but like, whatever. Ghost Rider, we'll give him props as the GOAT of Dragon Turbo right now. Now, Johnson Boss. Now look, I'm gonna keep it real. This guy's played a fucking billion matches, and he has like a 50% win rate on DB. Now, he might need to enter like some coin flipping competitions. That might be a better suited thing for him. He certainly has taken this deck a long way. He is a preeminent Gladiator Beast player. Where that really gets you overall, not really sure. But this guy's got some wonky ass picks and 43 cards. The 43 cards is just triggering me. Like, we got to get real with that. Why 43? Why not 42? Why not 44? Like, are we really going to say that that is the mathematical like apex of like the exact amount of like GB cards to bricks to like versatile trap cards? Like, no, this doesn't make any sense. We probably just need to trim the fat a little bit, play some real cards, but just pick some cards, just narrow down. I think it's this thing where people like, you play against all these ladder guys and they can't play through back row, and they're like, oh, they think it's deepers, and then they get caught off guard by a Wabaku or whatever. That doesn't work against better players. It doesn't work. Just narrow it down. 43 is a meme. And Secutor, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not even sold on Secutor. I know all these guys love Secutor. Oh, it's an auto win. I think it didn't work well in the one match that I watched this guy play. I do not think Gores is good. Trap Hole, Transmigration, Crow, Sided Shrink. What are we doing? It's a Battle Manicure, whatever the fuck this is. What are we doing? Shrink or Battle Manicure? I saw 2 different lists, so I don't actually know what he played, but whatever. And in first place, finally, we got Nicholas. Now, this guy won, so we can't say anything bad about it, right? Right? I mean, at least he found Solemn Judgment. He did find Solemn Judgment. You gotta love that. I do think the third Dust Tornado is better than Starlight Road, but this is just boring. You know, I'm glad we cut Sork. It's just nothing new except the third Prison, which seems a little redundant. Fiend is better than Dyna, still, in my opinion. You're not gonna be able to change my mind. No one plays against Frogs correctly. They don't get it. I'll die on that hill. And second sided, probably not necessary, but, you know, what's wrong with these people without Solemn? I don't get it. But anyway, congrats to Nicholas, congrats to all the top 16. You know, don't take it personally. It is what it is, or do take it personally and leave some nasty comments below. You know the vibes. James Arc.